The leather was cold against my cheek. To cold. Like everything's been to cold since Frank passed. I can still smell his cologne in the car, that Old Spice he wore for 47 years. My fingers are shaking so bad I can barely hold this recorder. Keep dropping it. Third time now. Sound of fumbling, a sharp intake of breath. I saw her face. In my son's car. That woman's face, and I can't breathe right. My chest feels like someone's sitting on it. Like that time I had pneumonia. Only worse because this time it's not my lungs that are broken. Danny doesn't know I saw. Doesn't know his 68-year-old mother was crouched in the back seat of his Camry like some kind of, I don't even know what, fool. That's what I am. A fool who thought she could surprise her son for his birthday. Long pause. Sound of tissues. I need to start over. Make sense of this. But nothing makes sense anymore, does it? Shaky breath. Frank died 14 months ago. 14 months, 1 week, and 3 days. Heart attack in the garage while changing the oil in that old truck he refused to sell. I found him under it, rent still in his hand. Always working, my Frank. Even at the end. The house got so quiet after. You don't realize how much noise one person makes until they're gone. The way he'd hum while shaving. How he'd rattle the newspaper at breakfast, clearing his throat at articles that annoyed him. The sound of his slippers on the kitchen linoleum when he'd get up for his midnight glass of milk. Voice breaking. Danny tried to help, my good boy, Kim, by every Sunday after church. Sometimes during the week too, he'd fix things that didn't need fixing. Mow the lawn, even though I told him I'd hire the Henderson boy. He'd sit at Frank's spot at the kitchen table, but it never looked right. Too tall, too young, not Frank. Mom, you need to get up more, he'd say, stirring sugar into his coffee spoons. Just like his father, join a book club, take a class at the senior center. The senior center. Like I'm some ancient relic who needs activities to fill my time. I'm 68. Not dead, though sometimes. Pause. I started noticing things about 6 months ago. Little things. Danny would check his phone during our Sunday dinners, smile at the screen in a way that made him look 16 again. He'd leave early, making excuses about work, but he seemed lighter somehow, happier. You're seeing someone, I said one Sunday, watching him fidget with his napkin. He went red from his collar to his hairline. Still my little boy in that moment. It's complicated, Mom. Complicated. Everything's complicated when you're 43 and divorced. His ex, Sharon, had remarried already, moved to Phoenix with her new husband. Some real estate developer with veneered teeth. Denny got the kids every other weekend. Drove 4 hours each way to pick them up. Tell me about her, I said. Trying to sound encouraging, trying to be the mother he needed. Later, Mom. When things are more settled. Settled. That should have been my first clue. Since when does my son, who told me everything from his first crush to his divorce papers, need things settled before talking to his mother? Sound of water being sipped, but I let it go. Told myself he deserved privacy, deserved to find happiness again after Sharon broke his heart. He'd been so lost after the divorce. Stopped shaving regularly, lived on frozen dinners, called me at odd hours just to hear another voice. So when he started humming again Frank's old songs, the ones from our dating days, I was grateful. When he got that haircut that made him look like a news anchor, I teased him, but felt relief flooding through me. My boy was healing. The birthday surprise was my idea. Stupid idea, in hindsight. But Danny had mentioned wanting to try that new Italian place downtown. The one Frank and I used to go to when it was still Antonio's, before they fancified it with cloth napkins and wine lists. I thought I'd hide in his back seat after church, pop up when he got in, yell surprise. Like we used to do when the kids were small. Take him to lunch, my treat. Maybe he'd finally tell me about this woman who put light back in his eyes, voice cracking. I still had his spare key, He'd given it to me after Frank died, just in case. I let myself into the garage, climbed into the back seat of his Camry. My hip protested everything protests at 68, but I managed, crouched down behind the driver's seat like I was playing hide and seek with the grandkids. The garage smelled like motor oil and cut grass. Normal smells, safe smells. I waited, checking my watch, the time Frank gave me for our 40th anniversary, 12:47. Church would be over soon. I heard his car door slam outside, footsteps. But then voices, plural, sure about this. Woman's voice, soft, uncertain, she'll understand. Eventually, Danny's voice, but strange, tight. The car doors opened. I pressed myself lower, heart hammering. This wasn't the plan. I should announce myself, sit up, laugh about the mix-up. But something held me down. Some instinct older than reason. The woman got in first. I could see her through the gap between the seats. Dark hair, silver streaking through it. Familiar profile. So familiar my brain refused to process it. Then she turned to Danny as he started the engine, and I saw her full face. Long silence. Linda Morrison, Sharon's mother. My son was dating his ex-wife's mother. Sound of crying. I must have made a sound. A gasp, maybe, or a whimper. I don't remember. But Danny's eyes flew to the rearview mirror, and I saw the exact moment he saw me. The color drained from his face like water from a sink. Mom. Linda twisted around, and our eyes met. Hers widened, then closed, like she was praying. Oh, Danny, she whispered. Oh no. Pause. Sound of tissues. The next few minutes are blurry. Danny pulling over. Me climbing out of the back seat. My hips screaming. My dignity in pieces on the asphalt. Linda standing by the car, arms wrapped around herself, looking anywhere but at me. How long? My voice didn't sound like mine. To high. To thin. Mom, let me explain. How long? Danny ran his hand through his new haircut. 8 months. 8 months. Well, I was grieving Frank. Well, Sharon was in Phoenix with her new husband. While the grandkids were shuttled back and forth like packages. 8 months of Sunday dinners where he checked his phone and smiled at messages from his ex-mother-in-law. Voice breaking. She's 23 years older than you. Age doesn't matter when she's Sharon's mother. The words rip out of me. Some dog walker across the street stopped to stare. Linda finally spoke. Eleanor, I know this is shocking. You know nothing. I turned on her, this woman I'd shared 20 years of holidays with. Who'd held my hand at Sharon and Danny's wedding. Who cried with me when they divorced. How could you? Your own daughter. Sharon doesn't know yet, Danny said quietly. Yet. Like it was inevitable. Like this. This insanity was going to continue. Long pause. I walked home. 3 miles in my church shoes, the ones that pinch my toes. Danny tried to follow in the car, calling out the window, but I kept walking. What was there to say? What words existed for this? Linda Morrison. We'd coordinated Thanksgiving dinners and birthday parties. Compared recipes and complained about our husbands snoring. When the kids were born, we'd taken turns staying overnight, helping with feedings. I remembered her at Sharon's wedding shower, tears in her eyes as she talked about gaining a son. Denny had hugged her, called her Mum Morrison. The grandkids called us Grandma Ellie and Grandma Linder. Like we were sisters, like we were family. Sound of something being set down hard. That was 3 days ago. Danny's called 47 times. I counted. Left messages that fill up my machine. Yes, I still have an answering machine. The one Frank installed. Mom, please. Let me explain. It's not what you think. We never meant for it to happen. I love her, Mom. That last one made me throw up. Actually run to the bathroom like I had morning sickness again. Love. He loves his ex-wife's mother. breathing heavily. Linda called once. Yesterday. Her voice on the machine was careful, measured. Eleanor, I understand you're upset. But we're adults. What Danny and I have. It's real. I hope someday you can accept that. Accept. Like I need to accept that the world's gone insane. That boundaries mean nothing. That the woman who used to help me plan my granddaughter's birthday parties is now, what? My daughter-in-law. Sharon's stepmother. Bitter laugh. The photo albums are the worst part. I made the mistake of looking through them last night. Every Christmas, every Easter, every family gathering, there we all are. Denny and Sharon in the middle. Kids on their laps, Linda and her husband Tom on one side. Frank and me on the other. One big happy family. There's one from Thanksgiving 2019. Linda and I are in my kitchen. Both wearing aprons Sharon made in high school home ec class. We're laughing at something I can't remember what. Frank snuck the photo. We look like friends. We were friends. Voice cracking. How long has she looked at my son that way? When did it start? Was it before Tom died 2 years ago? Or after? Was she thinking about Danny while we planned Sharon's baby shower? While we sat in the hospital waiting room during little Frankie's surgery, I can't stop my mind from going places it shouldn't. Denny's hands on her. Her lips where Sharon came from. It's obscene, like finding out your child is dating their teacher. Except worse because we're supposed to be past all that. We're supposed to be grandparents. For God's sake, long pause. The kids. Oh God, the kids. Frankie's 10, old enough to understand. Emma's 7. What do you tell children? Daddy's dating Grandma Linda now? How do you make that make sense in their little worlds when it doesn't even make sense in mine? And Sharon. My God, Sharon. She's going to find out her mother is sleeping with her ex-husband. The father of her children is. I can't even finish the thought. Sound of crying. I keep thinking about Frank. What would he say? He always had a way of making sense of things, of finding the calm in the storm. But this would have broken him to dot his son, his boy. With Linda Morrison. She makes me happy, Mom. That's what Danny said in his last message. Like happiness justifies everything. Like happiness is worth destroying to families, traumatizing children, making a mockery of every boundary that keeps society civil. Pause. But then I remember Danny after the divorce. The way he lost. The calls at 2 a.m. The way he'd sit in his old bedroom when he came to visit, staring at his high school trophies like he was trying to remember who he used to be. And Linda at Tom's funeral. How small she looked. How Sharon had to fly back to Phoenix the day after, leaving her alone in that big house. How she called me crying a month later, said the silence was eating her alive. No, I can't do this. Can't make excuses for them. Can't normalize this perversion. Because what else do you call it? What else do you call a man dating his children's grandmother? Long silence. It's 3 a.m. now. I've been talking to this recorder for an hour, and I'm no closer to understanding. The house is so quiet. Frank's chair sits empty in the living room. His coffee mug, the one with world's best grandpa, sits in the cupboard, unused. Tomorrow is Sunday. Danny will come by after church, or try to. Stand on my porch with his hands in his pockets, looking like the boy who broke my grandmother's vase playing baseball in the house. What do I do? Let him in? Pretend this is normal? Acceptable? Or do I lose my son over this? Because that's what it feels like, a choice between accepting this insanity or losing the child I carried for 9 months, raised for 18 years, loved for 43. Voice breaking. I don't know how to do this. Don't know how to look at him and not see them together. Don't know how to sit at Sunday dinner and make small talk about a relationship that breaks every rule of family, of decency, of God, I don't even have words for what it breaks. Linda Morrison. She taught Sharon to ride a bike. Helped Danny pick out Sharon's engagement ring. Held my hand when Frank's tests came back bad that first time, before the treatments worked. And now she's, what, my son's girlfriend, my future daughter-in-law, Sharon's stepmother, the kid's step-grandmother. My mind can't make the pieces fit. Sound of exhaustion, the sun's coming up. Another day of this new reality where nothing makes sense, where boundaries don't matter, where my son loves a woman who should be sacred, untouchable, family in a way that means something different than this. I need to sleep, need to stop thinking. But every time I close my eyes, I see them in that car. See her turn to him with that look. That soft, intimate look that belongs to young lovers, not this. Final pause. If you're listening to this at 3 a.m. because your world's been turned inside out too, if your family has broken rules you didn't even know needed to exist, you're not alone. I'm here too, in this strange new territory where love apparently justifies anything, where happiness matters more than history, where the people you trust most can betray you in ways you never imagined possible. Where are you tonight? What impossible thing has your family done? How do you choose between your principles and your people? Because I need to know. I need to know I am not the only one trying to make sense of a world where sons date their ex-mothers-in-law and everyone else is supposed to just accept it. I need to know I'm not crazy for thinking some boundaries should never be crossed, even for love, especially for love.